Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Welcome to Ficus Friday. Today I'm going to start with an update to my ficus root over temple. The weather has been very warm and sunny lately. Perfect weather for ficus. So I brought my root over temple ficus out and I'm keeping it in the shade under the bench here. It gets morning light and afternoon light here. Plenty of sunshine on it. So here it is. It had a lot of liverwort on it, so I pulled it all out and top dressed it with new soil. So it looks quite nice. And you can see the growth on it is just fantastic. I was very worried about it. I think this time last year it only had like maybe one branch on it or something. And I was very worried that, maybe this is the end of the root over temple ficus, but it bounced back with a vengeance. It just came back. I thought it would because it has a good root system on it, and I thought, well, I cut it off when it was super vigorous. All that energy that's stored in the tree has to go somewhere, and it did. It eventually came out the top, and it's looking good. So there will be sorting out to do of those branches in the future. I'm just going to wait until the tree is kind of stabilized and it's gotten used to direct sunshine. So once that happens and it's growing outside, then I can go in and start the branch selection. My Natal ficus, the African ficus, I'm waiting for that to begin growing with vigor, and then I'll repot it this summer into the pot that I made for it. So that'll be exciting doing that, but for now, it's just getting used to the sunshine, and hopefully soon it'll get really vigorous. I think I see a lot of new buds on it, so they're just waiting to go. My very first bonsai that I grew from a seed, my Ficus microcarpa, continues to leaf out. It's doing well. Some of the leaves are getting larger. It's got lots of vigor in it, so I think it's going to look good in the next, week or so. Here's a look at my Ficus bengalentis. It is starting to grow. It's got a bud that's just coming out here, so that's exciting. This tree is it went from tropical expressions into my plant room. I repotted it, and now it's starting to grow once again, so that's exciting. It should really grow strong this summer. It's in a root maker pot. It's got bonsai soil. It's in the greenhouse here, hot, humid. Should really grow this summer. My fiddle leaf fig, the one I defoliated, is growing really nicely. There's all kinds of new leaves coming in now, so that's exciting. It's recovered from defoliation, getting rid of those large indoor leaves, and hopefully these leaves will be a bit smaller, although I don't expect them to be small. My dragon trees, the seeds that Tom sent to me, I've got 5 of them growing now, so that's really exciting. I'm working on bringing all my tropical trees out of the plant room, and once that's empty, I can begin the construction work on the interior of the plant room, setting up all the benches and the lights and all that kind of fun stuff. James sent me an email, and he had some grow lights that he wasn't using, and he asked if I wanted them, and I said, sure, that'd be great for the plant room. So James sent me a package in the mail. I haven't opened it yet, so let's do that now. Here's a look at the package, so let's open it up and see what's inside. So this package is quite heavy. Oh, so there's 3 boxes inside. I'll put them out here. 1, 2, 3, and that's it. Let's take the big box away. All right, let's open up the first box here. Let's see what's inside. This is awesome, James. Thank you very much. So here we are. Wow. Check out these lights. Holy. They look pretty heavy duty. They got the, I don't know what you call this, the driver, LED driver on top, and then it's a chip on board, and it looks super bright. All these exposed chips. Wow, that's really going to light up the sky. Let's see what we got here. Actual power draw is 100 watts, so all three of them will be 300 watts combined. So that'll be just awesome. Thank you very much, James. I'll put these lights to good use in the plant room, and I'm sure you'll see them in lots of upcoming videos. The first tree I'll be working on today is my umbrella-styled Ficus benjamina. I last worked on this tree on December 17th of last year, so it's been about 5 months since the last pruning. And you can see there's a lot of the lighter type foliage that's grown in. So I've got to do some more branch selection today, pruning out some of that new growth that's not growing in a good direction, and further refining the tree. I've got the tree on the turntable, so I can turn it around, have a good look at it, which is the first step. Have a good look and see what you've got. So that's the front of the tree. Slightly nicer than the back. Has better roots down below. There was a big cut here at one time. It was a more upright tree, and it's starting to heal over. It's quite amazing that that large cut is healing over, so that's good. Sometimes when you're styling a tree, it's obvious what you need to cut off, but this tree is a little tricky. It's yeah, I got to be careful. I have to study it very carefully before I do any action. Deciding where I want to take it in the future. I've got to imagine the future. So one thing, this branch here, I've got some kind of cascading branches coming, and then it kind of rises up at the tip, and I think it's getting too high here, so I'm going to take the tip of it off. That'll be a first step. So I want to come down to here. Take that tip off, and then one here, I can take this one back too, like that. That gets that branch a little more in check. I'm just checking the tree over for scale. It had scale insects on it. I cleaned it off and sprayed it, and I saw a few blisters there, but they were old and dried up, so I think it's okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing any scale insects that are alive, like kind of juicy, I guess is the word. There's a branch up here in the apex. You can see the leader is kind of growing back in towards the center of the tree. I've got to remove that. I have one on the other side that's fanning out, so I'll keep that one. Prune off this one. Like that. So now that flows outwards a bit better. Again here, there's another branch. I pruned it here. It grew 2 branches. The one is pointing back in towards the center of the tree, so I'll remove that one. Cleaning that up a bit. There's also a little branch in here I could clean up. It's kind of making it cluttered. So that comes off. There's a branch here. I've got some foliage crossing the trunk here, and I don't think I want anything growing out straight towards the viewer from the front here. It's just going to cause problems in the future, so I'm going to remove those little shoots. Like that. So now you can see the trunk line a bit better. I think the rest can stay for now. I want something in that area. So it's cleaned it up a bit in that area, so I think I'll leave that for now, and then if it starts bothering me in the future, I can always come back and prune it off. In the apex here, I don't have a lot growing out the front here. All my apex is kind of heavy in the back side here. So I've got to prune some of this foliage back here and encourage it to grow out the front to kind of create a balanced apex. If you look at the side view there, you can see how heavy it is in this area, how light it is over here. So I've got to take steps to correct that. I'm going to start this branch here. It's kind of nice and horizontal, and then there's an upward part here that's sticking up. I think that needs to be pruned back. It's kind of competing with the central taller leader here. So that comes off. Now, in the apex here, I like this branch coming forward, and then I've got a kind of a stump above it with another branch that comes out to here. I don't think I need that stump there, so I'm going to take that branch and the stump off. Taking it back to there. I think the changes today will be quite subtle, but important. Now here too, I've got a branch coming out the back, and it's taller. If this is my height of my apex here, I got a branch out the back that's taller, so I got to prune those back. So I'll take the vertical part off of this branch, so you can see there's a branch down lower, and then it kind of shoots up vertically, so that comes off. That comes off. So you can see that's reduced the height of this back branch a bit, so now I got to tackle this one. And that whole branch, this one here, you can see that it's growing back in towards the tree. It comes off of this one that radiates out, and then it kind of grows back. So I can remove that whole branch. So off it goes. So, yeah, I'll cut it right in here, like that. And that's gone. So the apex is looking better. The whole tree is looking not so tall, and it looks more wider. Oh, it looks wider now. Not more wider, just wide. So I still think this back area is too high. You know, if you imagine this is the apex of the umbrella and you're rounding it down, I've got to remove some height off those branches here. So I've got another one sticking straight up here. If you see it from this view, this one's sticking straight up, so that can come off. Another one, if you look at this one here, this branch is fanning outwards, and then there's one growing straight up. So I'm going to remove that one too. So off that one comes. And there's a stub up here I can clean up. Now let's see. So there's the front view now. Looking better. I still have too much height. I'm still not rounding down here, so more has to come off. Uh-oh. That's the zombie apocalypse starting. Hopefully it'll go away. I don't want zombies running around the backyard. Boy, tough call with this branch. It's a little high here, and if I prune it back, I've got a leaf here, but not much else. I'll have to gamble that a new shoot develops in this area, so here I go. I'm taking this part off, like that. So that helps round it out. Now there's just this one sticking up still. And I think I'm gonna have to take it right back to this horizontal branch. Kind of drastic. Is there another solution maybe? Well, I'll keep this branch kind of crossing. Take this part of it off. See how that looks? There's the front view. I'm just wondering about the width. I guess it's okay. I think this branch is getting a little long. I'm just going to prune it back. There's lots of ramification at the tip here. I'll just take the tip off. So it subdivides from 1 to 2. This one's getting a little high. I'll take this one back to here. So another goal of this tree, you know, not just an umbrella-shaped canopy, but some separation in the layers of the branches, so to break that dome up a bit. Now, off of this trunk line here, I've got a branch that grows back in kind of towards the back of the tree. It kind of grows back in on itself. That's got to come off. So here it is here, if you can see it up through here. Yeah, it's growing back in this direction, so it's just got to come right off. It's right branch in the wrong location. Now, this branch here kind of, it grows out in this direction, and then I've got part of it, instead of going out this direction, it kind of grows back and crosses over top of this branch. So I've got to shorten this one or remove it. I think I'll keep the one section on that branch and remove the one that kind of crosses over top of this branch. So take that part off. That gets more light to this area. Everything flows a bit better. There's a branch here. It's kind of growing straight out, not straight out towards the viewer, but close to straight out towards the viewer. I'm going to trim the tip of it to kind of redirect it more of an angle. So I'm going to come back to here, like that. On this branch here, this one that's kind of coming out to the trunk to fill in this area, this part of it's good, but this part of the branch kind of grows in towards another branch. So I'm going to take this section of the branch off, like that. That way it's growing a little better direction. There's part of that branch too growing on the inside here. I'll remove that. Like that. On this branch here, I've got one branch directly growing above another. I gotta pick one of them. I think the lower one has to come off. I kind of like it. I like the shape of the upper one here, so I'm going to prune this lower one off. So here I go. So that's gone. Yeah, that helps that branch a lot. It looks much cleaner. This branch here, it's coming a little upright. I'm going to prune this more upright tip back. Yeah, I think right back to here. Just taking that tip off, so it doesn't shoot up so much. It's more flowing and horizontal. There's an old leaf I can take off here. There's a branch here. This one's growing back towards this tree. I don't think I need that part of the branch at all. No, I'm going to take that off. Like that. And then this part of it's a little long, so I'm going to prune these back to some good shoots here and here. Just some tip work. Taking those back. In this area here, I've got a branch here, and then there's another one coming from this back branch that's kind of interfering with it. I've got to redirect it more out the back, so I'm going to prune it back shorter. Try and get some branching coming out more in this direction, filling in that kind of spot in the canopy there. I'm going to take this vertical shoot off here. Don't like that sticking straight up. There's a couple of older leaves here I'll remove. There's a branch growing up here vertically. I'm going to remove that off this back kind of branch here. I think this one has to go too. There's a vertical one coming off the branch here. It's got to come off. It'll just cause future problems. I'll remove some old leaves here. Just get some more light to some of these branches, these new branches forming. So I think this branch growing up here kind of bothers me. It's getting too tall. It's almost the height of the apex. It should be more this direction. So I think I've got to take this growing tip off of it, which is a big, yeah. I'm going to take the vertical part off, keeping this horizontal part. So here I go. Fairly big cut there. It's an older leaf here I can remove. You can tell the older leaves, they're really dark. And remove these ones too. Just get it more light down to the branches below this one here, so it's not blocking all the light. There's a vertical section here on this branch I can take off, developing my more horizontal branches in that area so the branches aren't kind of interfering with each other as much there. There's a branch here. It comes off this back branch and it hangs down right on top of this other branch. I think I've got to remove that. It just clutters it up. So off it comes. I'll shorten it. I'll see if it grows a new branch. That's maybe more horizontal. Take an older leaf off here. And an older one here. That gets a little more separation in these branches. Looking better. About the back here. I think I'm a little long here still. Yeah, I need to reduce this back. So I don't need this vertical part on this branch. I'll take that off. Now I got to shorten this branch. And I will come back to here. Just taking the tip off. That looks better. I think I'm still a little long here. I'm going to go back even further to there. Take an older leaf off here. So there's what it's looking like. So I'm not liking, this branch here is still interfering with this one. This branch comes out this direction, and I think I got to take that one off. It's just, I don't need it. It just clutters this area up. So here it comes. It's coming off. Like that. Fairly major cut there. That opens this area up. Let's see how it looks from the front. Yeah, that looks much better. It's a little cleaner in that area. Not quite as cluttered. There's a little branch. Here's my main branch here. There's a little one on the inside I can clean off. It's just a little sucker that grew. Now it's come off. In this area, I've kind of got two branches growing from one spot, but I'm going to see what develops. Then later on, I'll pick my better one. So I think I'm pretty close now. Pull a weed out here. I think that's pretty good. It's certainly fixed a lot of issues on the tree. Maybe not 100% yet, but I think it's a step forward in the refinement of this Ficus benjamina. Here's an overall look at the front view of the tree. I think it's got some nice style going, that tropical ficus style. It's starting to look like more of a mature tree. So I think over the summer this is really going to fill in. It'll be amazing how much growth this tree puts on, because this is the first year in this new pot. It's a larger pot than it was in, so the roots have room to grow. And I think you'll see this tree really take off this summer and fill in nicely. Let's fly in and have a look at the tree. So overall it doesn't look all that much different from when I started today, but it's certainly more refined. You know, better branches, better shape. There's what I took off today. So, you know, I would say, again, last time I took about 1/3 of the foliage off, and I think I took about the same off today. About another 1/3. I can remember years back that this ficus was growing very tall and vertical, and I thought, oh, I'm never going to get kind of horizontal branches on it. But it just took time, you know, selective pruning, time, and now it's getting quite a wide spreading canopy that is just going to increase in the future, giving it that real tropical look. So I'm going to give the tree a water now, kind of spoil it because it is Ficus Friday. So here I go. I think over the summer you'll see a lot of these branches growing long and they'll start weeping under their own weight. It is called a weeping fig, this species, the Ficus benjamina, and that's because, you know, the new shoots grow really long and they're skinny and they weep under their own weight. So on a, you know, a mature tree, you get all these weeping branches coming off of it. So we'll try and get more weeping branches for the future. I think this tree is a good example of slow evolution of the design. You know, always picking my best branches, pruning away the others, and slowly by design is evolving into something that's looking quite good. So I'll put the tree back in the greenhouse and we'll get out the next ficus. The next tree I'm going to work on is my Vietnam style Ficus microcarpa. This started off life as a Ginseng Ficus. It had some foliage grafted on the top and that died. Then the tree suckered from the rootstock, and so now the foliage matches the root base, the same variety of ficus. After I pruned this tree back the last time, I've got all kinds of new growth coming in now. So I want to remove a lot of the larger leaves, trim back some of the vigorous growing shoots, trying to equalize the balance of vigor in the tree, and try and get a more uniform leaf size. All right, here I go. So here's an example. You can see this is an older leaf, and then I've got a new shoot growing in here with much smaller leaves, so I can remove the older leaf. Same on this branch. I've got an older leaf here, new tip growing in, remove the older leaf. Here I've got a new shoot growing in down below, and these are new leaves, so I can't do much about those. I can remove a stump that's on top here from the last time I pruned it. There. Okay. So now I've just got to look at each branch. Here's another example. I've got an older leaf here and new growth coming in, so I'll take the older leaf off. That's all new growth. There's an older leaf back here I can take off, like that. There is an older leaf here I can remove. Again, trying to get my leaf size a little more uniform. If you get big leaves, it blocks out a lot of light to the new developing branches. So here's an example of a shoot that's very vigorous. It's grown quite long. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's working on the 7th leaf. So I've got to prune it back to keep it miniature. So I'm going to go back to this leaf that fans out, back to here, taking the tip off. And I wonder if I should go back further. I think I should. There's a leaf back here. I'll take that off like that. That looks better. There's an older leaf back in here. It's very small, but it's older. I'll take that off. And similar to here, I've got an older leaf. I can take that off. The idea of removing these older leaves is to keep the vigor down in the tree. That way the leaves grow in smaller. The internodes are smaller. You don't get that rapid coarse growth. Because this tree is definitely, you know, in a refinement stage. I'm not developing the trunks thicker or the branches thicker. I'm just trying to manage the foliage, keeping it very miniature looking. So here's another older leaf I can take off. One back here, I think. Just see, yeah, I take that one off, and there's a vertical shoot that's got to come off with it. Just growing the wrong direction, so it's not necessary. Now here on this shoot, you can see there's an older leaf here. There's no bud on the inside of it, whereas on this older one I did. So I can take this one off. I'll take this one off too and see what happens. Upright leaf here I can remove. I can see there's a new root growing out of the sphagnum moss here. An aerial root. Kind of cool. There's a stub here I can remove. This branch here, it's getting long and vigorous. I've got to take it back. Take the tip off like that. An older leaf here I can remove. Older leaf here I can remove. There's a tip here I can prune. Again, trying to keep this very miniature. Now, I've got a big leaf here, and that is coming off of a new shoot here, so I can take that off. It's getting too vigorous. There's an upright leaf here I can remove, and I've got to take that branch tip off. It's getting too vigorous. Old leaf here I can remove, and one here. Lots of detail work to do in this tree. There is a branch that's growing up here that's getting quite vigorous. I'm going to prune the tip off to here, like that. So I'll just keep going around the tree. There's an older leaf here I can remove. Again, you can tell it's older because it's darker than this new growth coming in. Another older leaf here, but I'm going to keep that one. It's a good size. It's fanning out nicely. An older one here I can remove. A tip I can remove here. Some older leaves up top here that can go. They've done their job. There's new shoots growing in now. There's a vertical one here. I can prune it off to this more horizontal leaf. Like that, and take the inside leaf off. Like that. There's an older leaf here. It can come off. There's a branch growing on the inside here. I can take that one off. That's a new shoot that grew. So you always got to manage your branches. There's always going to be new little shoots and suckers that grow in. You got to, again, pick your best ones. Get rid of the others. There's an older leaf up here I can take off. And another one here. And that one can stay. It's in a good direction, I think. I'll keep it for now. There's a branch coming out here. It's getting vigorous. I'm going to take the tip off. Get some subdividing. There's an older leaf back here I can remove. There's a weed I can pull out here. There's a little bit of liverwort on it too that I'll pick off in the end. I'm going to take this one leaf off. This branch, it's got two vigorous leaves at the tip. I'm afraid that'll keep too much vigor in that branch, so I'm going to remove one of them. Just to keep that vigor down. There's a leaf here I can remove. An older one here I can remove. Some older ones in here I can remove. Just to clean that structure out, get more light in there. Now, here's a very vigorous one up top. I can prune that back to 2. I'll take the tip off and remove this leaf. That should do it. Should zap the vigor out of that branch. Another one here. It's very vigorous. Take the tip off and remove that big leaf. leaf off of this one. Little leaf thinning there in the upper canopy, just to get light to these new branches. There's another vigorous shoot here. I'll prune it back to here. There's one kind of growing up the inside here. It's not too bad. I'll prune the tip off and prune that leaf on the inside off. Like that. This one is kind of coming straight out towards you. I've got a branch coming off to the side, so I'm going to remove the whole tip there. Like that. That'll redirect it more in this direction. There's another one, a duplicate branch growing from the base of it. I'm going to remove all that. Like that. Looks better. There's one growing on the inside, a new shoot here. I'll take that one out. I don't want one growing there. There's one growing underneath this branch. I'll take that one off. Now this branch here, if I'm looking at the structure of it, there's one that shoots vertical here. It's a duplicate branch. I've got two branches right beside each other, so I'm going to take that vertical one off. Like that. Here I've got a branch coming out the front, and I've got a little sucker here. I'm going to take that one off. It's cluttering up the design there. Making it look too cluttered. I'm not sure about this one growing up from here, but I'm going to leave it for now. It's not too bad. Now I'm just going around the tree. I think I will take this older leaf off here. This one's definitely going to come off, this older big leaf. Now there's a branch here. I guess it's not getting much light because it's not very vigorous. Can't really do too much about it. I'm just going to take the one big leaf off. And then up top I gotta thin this so I get some light down to these lower branches. So I don't think I need this branch coming out from the bottom here. It's kind of cluttering it up. The rest is not bad. I'll just pinch. Oh, that's all okay. Just remove some of these older leaves. I'll get a little more light down to this new branch below, which I think will help it grow a lot more. There's a leaf growing straight up here. I'll take that off. Now this one, I've kind of got a branch kind of growing up. I think that's too vigorous. I'm going to take it back. The leaves were getting quite large on it. And there's an old branch, a leaf here I can take out. Okay, let me have another good look at it all. I'm looking for clutter and where I can simplify and improve. Here's an example. I've got two branches kind of growing from one spot, so I'll take the one out that I don't like the direction of. Keep my better one. I still have three growing from one spot here, so I gotta pick my best two. And I guess I gotta remove this vertical one. Keep my flowing branches like that. That looks better. Up here I've got two branches, one above each other, and they're almost identical, and I think I want to keep the lower one and prune the upper one off. Like that. That makes that a little less cluttered. And then there's still another branch growing from here. That makes three branches from one spot, so I'll take that out too. That looks better, cleaner. cleaner and more flowing. I'm not liking this branch up here kind of crossing. I got a better one down below. I'm going to take the tip off. Now it looks better. Now I'll keep rotating around looking for problem areas. I've got 3 branches kind of growing from one spot here. The one in the front looks good. This one looks good. So I think this one out the back can go. It's just a new little sucker that grew in. Don't need that. There's another little sucker under this branch I can remove. It's nice to have branches to choose from. I love suckers when they come in on ficus, because if you need to grow a new branch in that area, it's, you know, it allows you to do that. If you don't want it, you prune it off. Well, there's more aerial roots growing out the back here. That's good. Okay. I'm going to take this lower branch off. I like the upper one better. So that one's coming right off. It improves the flow going vertical. Then there's a stump in there that I think needs taking back. If I can get in there, I'll clean that stump up. I don't know if you can even see it, but it's there. Oh, I got to get in there to see it. Here it is. Get better than that. There, that's nice and flush. Cleans that up a bit. Now, there's a shoot here. There's a nice branch coming out the back, and then there's a branch growing just above it. I can take that out. It's cluttering it all up in here. You can't even see kind of space between the branches. It's just too cluttered. There's a stub I can remove here. There's a branch growing in here at the base of this other one. Is it a problem? Not really. But I think it needs cleaning out. Yeah. There's also one growing in here between these 2 trunks. I gotta clean that up. Not in a good spot. Okay. So I think from the front view it's looking much better. It's a little flat looking on the top rather than rounded, but I think I've just got to wait for this to kind of grow up a bit. You know, I don't want to prune these branches back because they're nice branches, and I think it would make it too triangular looking if I did that. I'd rather grow this up a bit to get that rounded shape. I think it's looking pretty good. I'm going to just peel back a bit of the sphagnum moss here. Like, I don't want roots growing from this part of the trunk, so I'm just going to remove some of it. There we go. Bit of it off here. Gives us a little better look. So now I'm going to clean up all the liverwort that I see on the planting. I'll fly us in so you can see what it looks like kind of from above. There's the tree. Lower. Yeah, considering, you know, this tree is very, very small, I think it's looking good in miniature. Leaf size is reducing nicely with, you know, proper leaf management, keeping the vigor down of the trees, of the tree. So over here, that's what I took off today. So, you know, for the size of the tree, quite a bit. I would say, again, I'm probably a third of the foliage and branches. So yeah, here's some of the liverwort. You can see it here, over here. So I got to pick all that out. I want some back here. Terrible stuff. All right, I'll do that next. All right, let's get rid of this liverwort. So I just pick it out. That's about all you can do. Pick it out. Hope it doesn't return. It always returns, but if you keep at it, hopefully you'll eliminate it eventually. It's like Irish moss. You just got to keep working away at it. And eventually, it goes away. Okay, I've got all the liverwort taken care of now. That's good. So, my next step, I'm going to give the tree a good thorough watering. All right, here I go. Rotate it around, give it a good rinse. Okay, that will do. I really like this Ficus microcarpa. It's one of my favorite trees because it's got the 3D printed pot. It looks very miniature. I'm keeping it very small. It's kind of like a miniature replica of the giant bonsai they have in Vietnam. So it's one of my favorites. It's always enjoyable working on my ficus on Ficus Friday. That's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.